Namaste. The concept of nothingness. Both science and spiritualism. Science, of course, is not too sure. But many a times, many scientists claim all that exists is in the presence of nothingness. There is no thing in this universe. Nothing. All that exists is energy. And what is energy? It's not a thing. It's an ability to do work. Ability to do work. And it is constant, indivisible. Within itself, it has many interchangeable attributes which appear and disappear. But on its own, it remains nothing. Like, for example, I was born as nothing. And I comprise of gross energy as body, subtle as mind, and core, as it is said, in the form of a soul, core energy. So a composite of three distinct energies, born as nothing, expands and evolves as something, to capture everything possible into its actuality, but to go back again into that nothing. That is what birth and death is. It has no beginning and no end. It begins, continues in its life in the form of a circle, cyclically moving, and death is nothing but a new beginning, revolving again and again. And that is how the Hindus in the Vedas around 6,000 years back came this or derived this conceptualization of Shunya as zero. Zero referring to as a circle. Which give birth to mathematics, which science depends upon. Science depends upon its observation and measurement is through mathematics. And zero is the origin of mathematics. And zero represents nothing. Zero represents nothing on its own. But when it is quantified, say attached to any numerical, it can be from 10 to 10 million to 10 billion to 10 trillion. You just have to go on adding zeros. So imagine its quantification. And in spite of that, our universe, which is infinite, as we can see, or we can see from its pictures, but just nothing but dark energy in equilibrium, representing nothing. 96% of it is dark energy, and just 5% say is matter and consciousness. 96 or 95% is dark matter and dark energy, which we do not know anything about. So nothingness is this equilibrium, is this bliss. Is this bliss, which the Vedas or the sages, Rishi Munis, around 6,000 years back, came out with this conceptualization of Shunya, meaning zero. Zero. Yet, they claimed it is everything. It has no attributes of its own, but exhibits and expresses temporary attributes. Temporary attributes of various energies, from nuclear, chemical, electrical, psychic, physical, mental, thermal, hydro. There are so many interchangeable forms of subset energies coming from this nothing, appearing and disappearing, interchanging within itself. But this nothing remains as eternal no dash thing, eternal nothing. So this is how the sages during those days represented. Nothingness, something. That something coming out, representing everything for us, and going back into nothing. Same is the case with reality. Reality is absolute and relative. We live in relative reality. Reality which keeps changing. It keeps changing within space and time. Limited and finite. But nothing is infinite, limitless, spaceless, timeless, infinite, eternal. That is the absolute reality. Nothingness is the absolute reality in totality. In totality. The relative reality is temporary. And so are we. In body, mind and consciousness. Gross energy, subtle energy, gross is body, subtle is mind, core is the soul. We come and we go. In a cyclical form, where death is a beginning of a new cycle. Beginning of a new cycle. And life continues endlessly. Endlessly. Creating, recreating, and destroying. It's a circle. Everything which is created in this universe is temporary. It gets destroyed through its expansion and goes back into that nothing. So this is how it is. So everything that we perceive and conceive has no independent existence. No independent existence. Because it is temporary. It is there for the while that it is there existentially. As it is, the way it is, from one moment to the next, limited in space and time. Limited in space and time. So, the qualitative factor of this nothingness is zero. In a circle, representing a zero. And this is how our Rishi Munis, sages, over 6,000 years before, in the Vedas, came out with Sunya, meaning void, with the symbol of zero, representing nothing. Qualitatively representing nothing, but quantitatively representing that we see. The qualitative factor they referred to as Para-Brahman. Para-Brahman. Meaning, nothing is Brahman. Nothing is Brahman. It is attributeless on its own. And nothing is all. Now why? Because Para means beyond. Para-Brahman. Because it has the ability without knowing of itself. And the ability is that of intelligence, from which everything becomes known. This intelligence is not aware of itself. This intelligence in that nothingness does not know itself. It's the mind which can utilize this. Para-Brahman. Or Parameshwar. Par means beyond God. Parameshwar. Paratma. Beyond consciousness. Beyond of beyond is the ability of this nothingness. Not aware of itself. But when it enters the mind, the highest intensity of this absolute energy of nothingness is in the human mind, entrapped in the soul, which we refer to as awareness. And if the mind is aware, it becomes conscious. To lead a life of self-consciousness and ego, and pure consciousness or witnessing consciousness in the form of a soul. So, Para-Brahman, nothingness, according to the sages, referred to as Para-Brahman, as the supreme energy, nothingness. The rest are all finite and temporary. They come and they go. In this equilibrium of nothingness, the ultimate reality, the source, the presence of permanence is that nothingness, the source of everything, and also the solvent in which everything dissolves, and also the solvent in which everything dissolves back into its nothingness. So how beautiful this nothingness is. How beautiful. It is that noumenon from which all phenomena comes out, which the mind, after it becomes conscious, perceives and conceives and experiences. And that is how this nothingness has the ability from its absolute energy which they refer to as buddhi, intelligence, which has the ability to make the mind aware, the animals aware, the plants aware. And this is how the living and the non-living, while they are temporarily existing, differ from each other. And it is through this supreme attribute that the mind becomes aware and conscious, from which all quantitative factors arise to become something while it exists. So, this nothingness, in spite of being a void in this universe, is everything. Because everything comes out from this nothingness, from the subatomic waves and particles to the stars. Everything which forms into an existence, which appears as an existence, which appears as a thing, whether it's the sun, moon, or whatever, they have to eventually disappear back into this nothingness, because nothingness is eternal. Namaste. Thank you for listening.